How thin were you then when you were breakdancing? You are fat.
They thought it was just obvious enough to.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I think it's a video. So I know people are watching this and they're like, "He used to be a breakdancer? Come on, no way, when?"
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Hard to believe.
No way those legs could hold that upper body up for all those.
But I mean, Heavy D was a great dancer. He was a big guy.
That's right. My inspiration, for God's sakes. So let's talk about the book, Black Privilege, a little bit. So
yes, New York Times bestseller.
New York Times bestseller, and you said it took a while for them to actually say it was a bestseller.
Yes, they did. I don't want to blame it on me being black, but I'm gonna blame it on me being black. Because why not? You know, there's nothing wrong playing the race card. But I don't know. It just took a while. Like my book came out and it debuted at number 6. You know, immediately. First week out the gate, and they didn't put the New York Times bestseller on there for like 5-6 months later.
How high on the chart do you have to be worthy of that ticket of bestseller? Do you know?
I don't know. I was number 6 on the New York Times hardcover list, nonfiction, which is the big boy list, big girl list. You know, I'm on there with the Dalai Lama and Bill O'Reilly and no, seriously, Hillary Clinton. I'm like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So
I'd rather read your book than Hillary Clinton's.
and Malcolm Gladwell sent me an email. Salute to Malcolm Gladwell. He's one of my favorite authors. He sent me an email. He goes, "Nothing brings me more joy than seeing your black on this list with all these white people, like, all of these boring, bland white people." His words, not mine.
So you said, I mean, earlier in the interview that you were being pushed to write a book forever.
Yeah.
What made you finally decide to put pen to paper or whatever it is these days and actually write this book?
Well, I'm not a egotistical, narcissistic person. So when Chris was telling me to write the book, I'm like, nah. I don't have enough under my belt yet. You know, even though I have been doing radio for a while, this is 4 or 5 years ago when Chris was telling me to write a book, just based off my story from Monk's Corner to where I was then. But then when you take where I was, Monk's Corner to then, and then you think about what I've done over the past 4 or 5 years, that's some whole other lessons that I learned. 'Cause that's all the book is. The book is just 8 principles that I learned in my life that I'm sharing with people. You know, and I think the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like, you know, it's a lot of things that you can directly link back to things that you learned in your childhood. Like the way we react to certain situations now, certain things that are going now is because of things that happened to us in our childhood. And I like, you know, I like the parallels between the two, and I like discussing the parallels in the book, like where I was at this age as opposed to where I am now at my current age. So I just think it made the book that much better, the fact that I just waited. Like I just when I started it 2 years ago, I just knew that this would be the time, because I'm like a numbers guy. So I'm like, yeah, Breakfast Club been on 7 years. 7 is God's number. Like, you know, I feel like this would be a good year to release it.
And one of the things that you said about the lesson is if you don't have something nice to say it anyway. That's one of your principles.
Absolutely. Right? If you don't have something nice to say it anyway, especially in this era where everybody's so PC and nobody wants to tell anyone the truth because we don't want to offend anybody. Everybody's so quick to be offended.
I was really offended when you told me I was fat.
And that's my thing. Me telling you that you're fat may make you go lose weight. And then you don't even know you might have had a pre-existing heart condition that you didn't even know about.
Well, it's true. It's every important truth is going to offend somebody.
Yeah,
there's never been an important. You know, it's like abolitionists offended 99% of society when they were like, "Hey, we probably shouldn't have this slavery thing." Like, so if you're going to take away, if anyone gets offended, and that means you need to shut up. We are as human beings. Like, we'll never get anywhere.
Oh, by the way, we're. That's why we can't get anywhere now. That's why everybody talks about Trump causing all this divisiveness. Yes, he has, but we're divisive.
I think he scratched the surface and showed.
I think Trump is a result.
He made it his result. Exactly. He's the result of what was happening already.
Is everyone look? I'm not saying he isn't causing more divisiveness.
No,
but it's like, but look,
in
in my lifetime, right? Because I remember as a kid, everyone would say this, but I was too young to really know. But they say Bill Clinton was the most hated president ever. Then George W. Bush was the most hated president ever. Then Obama was the most hated. But like everyone, the other side hates him. And Trump has just taken this to a level of like, dude, it's a cartoon now.
But you know why people hated Obama, because he was black. Like
sure,
that.
I'm not saying, was black. That's certainly helped. It certainly made. Look, it took all the Bill Clinton hate and then make it a black guy named Barack Hussein. And it's not just that he was black. There's something about Barack Hussein that made the middle of the country go, this is an outsider. That's not like one of our
blacks.
If it was
Steve Smith, it wouldn't be anywhere near as bad.
It would be better. I think it would be better. I'm sure there would still be resentment. But yeah, if he went with Barry.
Have a beer with Barry.
Now, I do think, but Trump, whatever he does, whatever Obama did to that side, Trump, and I'm not saying like they're the same, but I'm saying what Trump does to the left, he pushes whatever button will make you hate hate him. And it's not a policy thing. It's not like, oh, he did this or he did that. It's the way he talks.
Yeah, because we've never seen somebody be that vulgar and that rude and succeed at anything other than radio. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you got a guy who's got Howard Stern's old school 80s, 90s mentality, became president of the United States.
Literally was a regular on Howard Stern's show back then, like, and fit right into the show.
They came out with a video. Can you imagine that, having that Trump card where you pull out this video and he's on there like talking about grabbing women by the and he still wins the election against a woman?
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I think two white people in the middle of the country, those tapes of Obama with Jeremiah Wright and shit that were that was it for them. That was like, see, this is proof. This guy's saying America. Like, I was just on the news. I do a lot of these like news shows, and I was on SE Cup show last night, and I was basically just saying, because this is like something I believe very passionately, that I was like, you know why these Muslims hate us? It's not because we're over here and we're being awesome. It's because we've been slaughtering them for decades and decades and decades, way before 9/11. And right away, the response to that is like, oh, so you're saying it's our fault? You're saying we're the bad guys? Because that can't be the narrative. Yeah. We're the good guys. They're the bad. And when Obama's with a preacher who's saying, God America, it doesn't matter what points he's making. It's like, oh, he's one of them.
What it is today, we are in a yes or no, black or white. There is no middle ground society. You're for me or you're against me, and that is it. You cannot have a dialogue.
You can't.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. That's why we can't ever come to an understanding, because we're all too afraid to make each other uncomfortable. We're all too afraid to offend each other. But like you said, would you say those important truths are going to make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Period.
And stupid can make you uncomfortable too, but you can never flush out what's stupid and what's important if we can't like even talk about it.
Especially because we're so PC. Like I told the story last week on the podcast, but I was on a date with this Asian girl, right? And we were talking about how politically correct everything has to be. I just said this last week, but I think it's relevant for right now. How I said it's funny.
Just trying to get it out there that you Asian.
No, I didn't
get it.
I wish I did. But I said how we were talking about political correctness and the climate, blah, blah, blah. I said it's like the equivalent of when, and she said she doesn't like Asian jokes at all for obvious reasons. But
you haven't heard any funny ones, that's why.
She said, I said, well, I also think it's weird when you see like a black guy laughing at a gay joke in a comedy club and then gets mad at a black joke, right? It doesn't seem to make sense. And she goes,
that's hypocritical.
Yeah, it's hypocritical. She goes, well, that's just. I said, you're being politically correct. You can't say. If you're going down that path.
Well, this is the thing is that nobody can be super politically correct and not be a hypocrite at some point, because people don't live that way. So you'll always, if you're going to get offended by something, just watch out, because it's like, you know, and that's comedy clubs are the best example for that, because you'll hit one thing that's like there, you know, I'll make one joke where it's like, you know, you'll make like a joke or something like that, and then there's some woman who's like, you can't joke about, you go, well, I made a joke about my grandpa dying in World War II before that, but you didn't have a problem with that one, right? Well, 60 million people died in that. So, like, you know, what's really more
close
fucked
to
up?
home, so now I'm offended.
Oh, it's like your thing. Yeah. So you make me a list of what I'm not allowed to talk about.
That's all or nothing.
That's why you got to have a perfect balance of ratchetness and righteousness. That's the yin and the yang of life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say something that's quote-unquote ratchet, you're like, oh, that's just him being him. And when you say something that's being smart, people are actually surprised by that little nugget of brilliance that you just dropped. So you got to have ratchetness and righteousness. And it's interesting what you just said about, I forgot the you were just talking about.
My fatness?
No, not the fatness.
The Asian Ralph couldn't close the deal with.
I forgot where I was going with it. But no, like it's like we are hypocritical when it comes to this like that. Like me, I just like a good joke at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can you make me laugh?
Hatred, who cares?
That's it. If it's not coming from a place of maliciousness or a place of hate, and you just said some funny, clever, witty, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, and I also think, at least I've noticed this, that I do think that, you know, it's usually like privileged people offended on behalf of oppressed people.
It's almost like never the actual person.
Like my grandfather was a Holocaust survivor, and he loved a good oven joke. Like he loved it, and it was because like that's the sign that you're not there anymore. Yeah, man. Like no one was making jokes about it.
It also means you're comfortable with who you are.
I would like to advise everyone out there: do not make any jokes about Jewish people in ovens, please. All right? I don't know if you know anything about the power balance in America, but the Jewish people have a lot of power. Don't you dare do that.
Wait, Jews don't even we don't even pull the we're offended card. You're just gone.
That's it.
You're just gone the next day.
But do you not respect that?
Charlamagne's been taken off the radio.
Do you
That's all
remember
we know.
Rick Sanchez? He was a big deal at CNN. He was like one of their main anchors, and he went on Pete Dominic's show, and he was shitting on Jon Stewart, saying Jon Stewart doesn't understand the minority experience because he's a Mexican dude. And Pete Dominic was like, but Jon Stewart's a Jew, and he goes, oh yeah, Jews, real minorities, they don't have any power in this game.
Whoa, okay.
He was gone tomorrow. there was no article about outrage or this. It's just like, okay, good point, and no one will ever hear from
That's
you
why
again.
I love Jewish people, by the way, because Jewish people, you don't hear them complain about. They're not out here playing the victim. They're empowering themselves economically, and when you offend them, they gonna get you the out of here. That's the way life should be.
Jew power.
Let's keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be able to have those attributes, knowing how to empower your community economically, and if you do say something that's offended, you get out of line. You gotta go. That way, everybody will watch their mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's it.